I have been a chronic overthinker for pretty much my entire life. And the result of that is that even in the most secure relationships that I have, I still find myself wondering, questioning if I'm doing enough. I feel like my overthinking would have been better suited for different industries, like, I don't know, science or history or archaeology or linguistics. I could have used the processing speed of my brain for something productive. But unfortunately, I was not guided in the direction of using my mind healthily. And so instead of pursuing things or allowing for my brain to do what it does best and actually get something out of it, it does what it does and it terrorizes me. It terrorizes me with my interpersonal relationships with people. And it's something I've been working very hard on, especially the last, I would say 5 years. I'm 25 now, if you didn't know. I've been the last 5 years working a lot with myself and doing a lot of inner work to meet my overthinking where it is and understand it and cope with it and also slow it down. And for the most part, I think I have managed to work through a lot of it. I've managed to find ways to hold hands with my anxiety without letting it drag me to the bottom of the ocean, kind of thing. But there are days, a lot of days, where it's just still loud. It's still loud. It's not as loud as it used to be, which I'm very grateful for. And the things that have helped me the most with quieting my mind and stopping the spirals before they turn into full-on tornadoes, mostly is writing. I do a lot of writing. I mean, an egregious amount of writing. I have journals upon journals upon journals, physical, digital, video journals. Will make little video diaries on my computer when writing my words is just not enough. I find that putting my thoughts somewhere where I can see them allows for me to detach myself from them and not identify so much with the thought and just be able to witness it for what it is and recognize that it is just a trauma response. It's just a response to a trigger. Most of my triggers or my trauma responses come from being neglected, abused, and humiliated as a child over and over and over and over and over again. Dealt very unhealthy doses of shame from the people around me. And that bled into my adult experience and produced an adult who believes that no matter what she does, no matter how good she is, no matter how much she works, she will never be enough. She will never be able to do enough. There will always be more to do. There will never be enough done, and people will always abandon her and leave her at the drop of a hat. That is what my brain tells me. My brain, for so many years, has told me that if I make even one mistake, I'm out. Throw away with the bathwater. That's what my brain tells me. Thankfully, I've had time to deconstruct that belief. So now when the thought appears, I'm able to refute that thought with actual truth. Like when I think something, when my brain pulls up a thought that I know is not true, I will acknowledge it. I'll see it, I'll feel whatever it brings up in me, but then I'm like, okay, well, here's a true statement. I am not going to be abandoned by everyone I love and hold dear. I'm not unlovable. I'm not too much. I'm not a burden on those that I love and care about. I am just exactly enough, and people enjoy having me in their presence, and people enjoy talking to me, and people look forward to having me around and to learning about me, that's a true statement. That's the truth. So no matter what my brain tries to tell me, no matter what my conditioning of my childhood, the whispers of a mother who didn't know she hated me, no matter what those things tell me, I can refute all those things with a true statement. And that's something that's helped me a lot. And the only reason I'm talking about this today is because my anxiety for the last few days, honestly the last couple of weeks, has just been kind of like steadily increasing. And I know it has to do with my current physical circumstances. By the way, let me introduce myself. I'm Azaria. I talk about things. I yap and I yap and I yap some more. And I'm an author and a poet and a writer and overall just interested in many, 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 many things. But back to what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh yeah, my physical circumstances. So if you don't know, I have been living in Pennsylvania with my sister for the better part of almost 4 months because just some things happened and I had to start over. I had to start over again in life, and that's okay because that happens, and I'd rather do it now at 25 and get all this out of the way than have to wait until I'm 53 and my whole life has gone by and I have not addressed any of the things that I've had to address over the last couple of years. So I'm glad that I took this time to restart now. And I wasn't even sure I was gonna wear these glasses today because they kind of have a glare on the camera, and it's kind of weird. But my glasses broke, so I added duct tape to fix them. But it's like, do I just like put the glasses up here and just raw dog it, or do I put the glasses back on? I don't know. Can y'all tolerate having the glare? I don't know. Maybe I'll just take them off. How's that? Can you see me better? But yes, my anxiety because of my physical circumstances has been through the fucking roof. And I'm very proud of myself because I've done a very good job of acknowledging that anxiety without attaching myself to it, without allowing for it to dictate my entire experience here. I've been able to navigate this whole experience gracefully enough, as gracefully as I possibly fucking can. The thing is like, most of my anxiety comes from the fact that, if you don't know, it's just, okay, I feel like I'm beating around the bush here, but it's like, it's so different. It's difficult to talk about stuff like this sometimes for me, especially to strangers online, because it's like, I've never experienced this before. This is my first time doing this, okay? So just cut me some slack, please. Most of my anxiety for the last few months has come from the fact that for the very first time in my life, I am in a relationship. For the very first time. I am 25, and at 25, I'm in my very first relationship. On purpose. Like, I purposefully did not get into relationships before because I'm the kind of person where I date so that we can die together. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't date casually. I'm not good at that. I date to get married, and I date to spend our lives together. I do the same thing with my friends. Like, we're friends forever. When we become like real friends, like it's like, oh, this is a lifetime commitment. My relationships are long lasting. That's how I prefer it. I don't like doing casual. It makes me uncomfortable. I'm not good at it. I'm autistic. I'm either all in or I'm all out. So that's just how it is for me. But when I started dating this man, it was back in like the very, very end of May, June, right? Then I left Boston because of my whole situation and came here to Pennsylvania in July 4th actually. And so we'd only been like talking at that point for a month. And so now at this point we have spent more time apart than we have like together physically. And usually this wouldn't bother me. Usually this wouldn't be an issue for me, except for the fact that I absolutely despise telecommunication. I don't like texting regularly. I don't like having to call someone or to stay in touch with them. I'm more of an in-person more of an in-person woman. I prefer all my relationships to be strengthened and deepened and all those things in person. I prefer to see the person face to face. I have to talk about them or talk to them, and it's like all of my communication with this man has been over the phone for the last almost 4 months, and it is driving me insane. It is driving me insane because that makes me anxious. And I know that it's because of the lack of certainty. It's like you must have like real trust, and it's not that I don't trust him. It's more just I feel like I don't do enough because, again, I don't text all day every day. I'm not good at telecommunication. So sometimes for me it'll feel like, well, if I don't text him enough or if I don't reach out enough, is he going to think that I have grown bored of him or moved on from him? And to be honest, it's the complete opposite. The truth of the matter is, in the last 3 months that I've been gone, almost 4 months that I've been gone, not only have I fallen more in love with him, I think about him every single day, regularly, all throughout the day. He is the first person I think of when I wake up and the last person I think of before I go to sleep. And he just like, he sits in a very comfortable place in my mind. And I don't really want to talk too much about him because it's like, I don't want to invade his privacy, and I would like to keep a lot of things private, but my own experience is something I do want to share because I feel like it could help other women, or even other women can relate to it, because I just, sometimes I feel like I'm alone in this because like there's not a whole lot of, there's no one around me who's experiencing this. The only other people I see who have something similar are people online. So it's just, I don't know, I want to talk about it a little bit. But the thing that like, that spikes my anxiety about this long distance thing is that, I guess, again, from my earlier point, my earlier thing that I was saying where I said that this anxiety that I'm never doing enough, that nothing I ever do will ever be enough, is like leading into this. And I feel like I've been able to handle it pretty well for the most part, but it's like I have to fight this battle every single day, and I'm so sick and tired of fighting this battle because it's like it's so boring to me. It is so boring and redundant. It's like, okay, I understand that my brain does what it's going to do, and I know how to cope with it. I know how to navigate it. I know how to de-escalate my own spirals, right? But like I have to keep fighting this battle every single day. How long am I going to have to fight this battle for? How many times am I going to have to tell myself over and over again, no, he doesn't stop loving you just because you don't text that well, or he's not going to like just abandon you because, you know, you go the whole day without speaking until the evening. And it's like, it feels like the perfectionism part of myself is not latching on, but trying to dig its claws into me and latch on to me again after defeating that demon for so long ago. Sorry, Duna's in the background alerting me to the fact that somebody breathed at least 100 feet within the premises. Yeah, but it's like, it's hard for me to like really like explain fully, because my anxiety around this relationship has nothing to do with like my security within it, and more to do with my security in my own actions. It doesn't feel like I do enough most of the time. And then he'll call or he'll send a text message, and it will abate that anxiety for a little while, but then it'll just come right back. And it's like, what more am I supposed to do? You know, I've written about it, I've talked about it, I've walked it out, I've talked to the trees about it, I've screamed it into the ether, I've thrown it into the river, you know, I've sat with it, I've prayed with it, I've given it away, I've surrendered, I've banished it, and it's like, it's still here. Why? And it's like, it's very frustrating for me. And it's like, I don't know, it makes me irritated because it's like, I know that it doesn't have to be like this. And the thing is, none of this was a problem before I left. None of this was a problem for me before I left Boston. If he didn't text me throughout the day, or he didn't, call or whatever, it didn't bother me when I was in Boston because I knew I could just see him in a couple of days. for me, good morning texts and good night texts and everyday calls are not ever something that I was like, oh, I need that. Oh, I need that. That was never anything that I wanted or needed, because it was like, I am an in-person person. I am the kind of woman where I don't need you to text me every single morning. I would rather just see you in person and then we just catch up that way. But not being able to see him in person kind of makes it so that I have to rely on the communication of phones. And for the most part, it's like, I don't know. And he doesn't always like text good morning, and sometimes he doesn't respond to my text. And like I said, in the beginning, when I was in the city, it didn't bother me. It wasn't an issue because I was there. It didn't fucking matter. But it's like now, it's like that's the only way I can get a hold of you. So, or the only way that we can connect. And it just feels like there's so much pressure. And I don't like that feeling. I don't like feeling like I'm waiting for a response or a call or a greeting to feel wanted. I don't like that feeling. It's not a good feeling. And it's like, that's never been who I am. So why all of a sudden is this coming up? Why all of a sudden is this becoming an issue for me? And I feel like this video is mostly just like a stream of consciousness thinking out loud thing, because I don't even know what the topic is going to drift into at this point. But the reality is like, I think the reason why I'm talking about this today is because, like, for me, when I make a video about something, after processing it enough on my own, it's like that's my final release. It's like that's my final, like, okay, I've done everything I can. I've done everything I can with this, so I'm gonna give it to thousands of other people and see what they make of it, because I don't want it anymore. It's out of my hands. Take it. I don't want it. Do what you will with it. Come to your own conclusions. I don't know. I don't want to hold on to it anymore. And I feel like putting it somewhere where I can't really take it back does that. It's like, okay, it's not in my hands anymore. So I don't want this feeling of anxiety because I didn't get a good morning text. I don't need a good morning text. I don't. I never did. So why all of a sudden, because nothing has changed physically, like nothing has actually changed in terms of my relationship with this man. The only thing that has changed is physically where I am at. If I didn't need a good morning text before, why on earth would I need one now? You know, that's what I'm trying to like get my brain to understand. It's like nothing has changed except for where you're located. That's it. That's the only change that has happened. You didn't need it before, therefore you don't need it now. You just feel like you need it now because you want the certainty. You want the certainty that, you know, the reminder, the certainty that he loves you, the certainty that he thinks about you. You know, like, I know that he thinks about me. I know that he loves me. He has told me multiple times, and I trust him. He has never given me a reason not to trust him. So, with that in place, the logical explanation is nothing has changed. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. And my mind is simply trying to create a mountain out of a molehill. Again, that's just how it is. I've been gentle parenting myself, if you can't tell. It's been a very interesting experience. A bit tumultuous, very dramatic, but so necessary. So necessary. I have been so specific and so intentional with the way that I have been speaking to myself and the way I've been taking care of myself and the way that I have been redirecting myself, because I was never handled with care. I was never handled with I was never handled gently or with tenderness when I was a kid. Never. Everyone was just so rough. Everyone was just so rough with me. They were yelling and they were sharp and they were stern and they were just harsh and just mean. And I've taken a lot of time recently to be the exact opposite and to allow myself, within the safety and comfort of my own company, to throw my little temper tantrums and be very dramatic and to cry and to cry and to cry and to cry. So I don't think I've ever cried this much in my entire life. I have cried so much this past season. Like, I've just cried over everything. Everything has just been a very big deal for me. Everything has been a very big deal. Everything has been super important. Everything has been super, super deep. It's all that deep. Everything is that deep. But I think it needed to be. I think this time it needed to be that deep for me, because I was never allowed to feel as deeply as I do without punishment. And for the first time in my life, I'm not being punished for anything. I'm just being allowed to feel and experience and express, and then move on, and to keep doing it over and over and over again. It's just like wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat, over and over and over again until the end of time. So now that I got that out the way, oh, I feel so much better. Genuinely and truly. It's just been eating at me. I'm so serious. It's been eating at me. And it's like, it's ruining the experience. It's like, come on, dude. Like, girl, please relax. We're in love for the first time in our lives. Can we please rejoice? Rejoice. Celebrate with me, sisters, brethren and sisters from afar, near, and whatever you are. I'm in love for the first time in my life. And I'm over here crying because it's like, why can't, it's like, I just need to allow myself to be happy. The fuck? Like, I'm sorry, excuse my language, but like, for the first time in my life, I have a boyfriend. That's never happened before. No one's ever made it past round 2. I'm not gonna go into that today, but no one's ever made it this far. No one has ever been granted a space this close to me. Nobody. Not a single person on this planet has ever been allowed this close to me. And all I want is to keep inviting him closer. Every time I get scared that if I show too much, he's going to somehow run away or disappear or, get scared and run off, I show a little bit more and then he just gets closer. It's like, oh, okay. Right. I'm trying my best. Not even trying. I'm just like actively choosing to enjoy this as best that I can, because this is something that I wanted for a very long time and that I was very intentional about waiting for. As impatient as I can be as a person, I was specifically patient for this person. I've said this before, but I've written about this man before I even knew him. I have journal entries describing the exact kind of man that I want to end up with, that I would choose to be with. And at every point in turn, he has shown himself to be the exact description of that person. So I'm going to choose to enjoy this. I'm going to choose to trust the good things and trust in experiencing good things, because I've experienced a lot of not good things. And for the rest of my life, I think I'm just going to choose to experience just a bunch more good things, just kind of even out the scales a bit. I've banished suffering from my experience on this planet. I'm done with it. Pain is obviously inevitable, but suffering is a choice. I've banished suffering. I can experience pain for whatever it is, but I will not allow for it to be a home that I claim as my own. I will never do that. No, I can't make a home out of pain. It's not, I don't fit. It doesn't fit with me. I don't fit with it. The colors are drab. It's not really my aesthetic. No, it's a place that one must visit, obviously. You must visit pain every once in a while. Just like you have to visit the doctors or visit the dentist or, visit a grave. You must visit it and you must acknowledge it, because you can't, ignore it. It's the sky. It's there. I don't live in the sky, though. I live on planet Earth. So, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Just choose to experience this goodness for whatever it is, for however long it lasts. I'm of the belief that nothing lasts forever, and that everything that we have is ours to hold on to for now, as if it were ours forever. So with this man specifically, I will cherish him as if he were mine forever, for forever long he will be mine for now. He's mine for now, and I'm his for now. And if that now lasts until the day we die, then that's how long that now lasts. But nothing will ever last forever. So I will choose to experience all of it as fully as I possibly can, because why not? We're all gonna die anyways, yeah? So if we're all gonna die, I would much rather die having lived so fully, so well, so abundantly, so truthfully, that when the moment comes for me to go into that eternal sleep, it's not even eternal, it's for a moment, then you wake up again in a new one. But when I go into that deep sleep, I want to be able to close my eyes to this and sigh into the night and be like, yeah, what a story, you know? What a story. I'm choosing to live a love story in this life. All kinds of love. Platonic, romantic, familial, self, communal, all of it. But yeah, I think that's mostly it. Guys. Moral of the story is, I love this man, and I love him enough to continue to work on myself and to continue to heal myself so that I can continue to love him well, so that I can love him right, and so that I can be loved by him well. I think that love is not, I always say this, but love is not something that you just feel. It's an act. It's a choice that you make. And my act of love for him is working on myself so that I can give and receive love from him in a way that is healthy, in a way that is mutual and reciprocal and genuine. I don't like toxicity. I don't like manipulation. I don't like cold shoulders and passive aggressiveness. I don't like that. So if it means I must continue to fight the battle of previous conditionings over and over and over again every single day until it is quiet, then I will continue to do so, because to me he's worth that. To me he's worth fighting the largest battles of my soul. And it's funny because he's not really one for like flowery expressions of love verbally, but his actions tell me everything that I need to know. They are my favorite reminder of how he loves me. I think actually I can tell you the moment, this is the last thing I'll say before I shut up, but I think the moment that I realized I loved him without fully realizing it and looking back and I'm like, oh, that's when I found out, was I think June 28th or 29th. I was dealing with a depressive episode, and it was a really, really strong or difficult struggle with suicidal ideation, which is something I've struggled with for a very, very long time. And this was like this was one of the hardest battles I had to fight. I was very close this time around, but obviously I didn't do it. But yeah, the day before I had really been going through it. And then I had spent the night at his house, and the next morning I woke up still like reeling from how intense it was, and just like, it was just a lot. It was a lot. And so I was sitting out on his porch, and he came out and we were talking. And I remember at one point we got in the conversation about food. I had mentioned this like snack that I made with one of my best friends, and I like told him just kind of like offhandedly, like it was like one of my favorite meals I've ever made, like recipes I ever made with my friend. And afterwards we went inside, whatever, he started making breakfast, and then he places the food in front of me, and it was a deconstructed rendition of what I had described to him in his own rendition of what I had described to him for breakfast. And I almost said I love you right there on the spot. Because I was just like, what the fuck? It was delicious. It was delicious. And it was the very first time, I think, where it was like, oh, you see me. Yeah. And he just did it so casually. It was just like, oh, it's nothing. It was everything to me. That was the kindest thing I think that someone has ever done for me. So, yeah. Moral of the story, I'm gonna marry this man. If he asks me. We'll see. But that's it for today. Thanks for hanging out with me while I yapped about my love life and, you know, the things that I'm working through. Maybe I hope that it was able to help some of you. I hope that some of you guys were able to resonate with it, and I hope that some of you were able to, like, you know, I hope that it was able to reach someone who also understands what I'm going through. Like, maybe we can, I hope that we're not, like, we're realizing that we're not doing this alone, and that you're doing so well, and I'm very proud of you, and I'm proud of myself, and it's just, it's not easy, but it will always be worth it. It is the greatest work we could ever do. It is the most important venture we could ever partake in, yes. But yeah, I love you. I hope you have a lovely rest of your weekend. I will see you next week. Bye now.